Senator Lankford.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Boudreau, good to see you again. Thanks for your service to the nation and the task that you take on. I do need to run through several different issues with you. The infrastructure bill itself required the Department of Interior and the Forest Service to work on improving the efficiency of permitting. This has already been discussed already, that there were some required reports that were to come out to say, what are we going to do to improve permitting, especially for critical minerals and mining and other things on that as well. That report was due by November the 15th of this year. Has that report been released yet?
The report hasn't been released yet.
When is that coming?
It will be out early next year.
So define early for me.
The first quarter of next year, it'll be complete.
Great. We will be watching for that. Obviously, that's a major piece to be able to work on the permitting activities and what can be done. There was also a request for some recommendations in that report as well to say, here's some things that we need to be able to improve the permitting process on this as well. I and several other senators had also sent a letter to the Department of Interior to be able to ask on some of the issues on flaring that's already come up. Miraculously, that letter has not been answered in months, and then it came in last night. So it's always helpful to be able to have a hearing and to be able to go through and to actually get some of the mail that came in. So when that letter came in last night, there were a couple of things on this, because one is there is the infrastructure bill itself also gives to the Department of Interior the right to be able to do categorical exclusions, to be able to go through some of the process on permitting. The letter itself, let me just read you this section because you may not have read the letter from last night. It said the Bureau of Land Management is implementing Section 11318 of the infrastructure bill through review of rights-of-way and sundry notices submitted by operators for gathering lines and associated field compression of pumping units, and may apply the categorical exclusion, if applicable, when processing the authorization. Help me understand when that categorical exclusion may be used.
Yeah, and as I touched on in the discussion with Chairman Manchin, part of the process to increase usage of this new authority is working with operators so that they're aware of it. Currently, we evaluate gathering lines in connection with an existing APD process, and so it gets subsumed within that. Part of our outreach is to say, with respect to specific gathering lines, we do have this new authority to, under the law, to apply a categorical exclusion. And so we've seen some operators start to take that up. There are a few examples, but again, part of it is to advertise that we have the authority so folks can take advantage of it.
So has that authority been used at all yet by anyone, or been given it to anyone?
Yes.
You're saying that some operators are aware of it, they have made the request, has it actually been given?
Yes. On at least one occasion in Colorado, it has been used.
Okay. Is there clear guidelines of when it will be used so that when operators request it, they'll know here are the guidelines to use this categorical exclusion?
Yes, and I'll confirm with the BLM that instructions have been provided to the field offices along those lines, but BLM is aware of this authority under the IRA.
Right. Well, obviously, we're aware of it. You're aware of it. I want to make sure operators are not only aware of it, but know how to be able to actually get access to it. This issue of flaring is exceptionally important to us. We'd rather be able to sell that resource worldwide, as much of Europe is clamoring for that resource, rather than have it burned off. The way to be able to get access to it are these gathering lines. And so the more that we can literally gather, the more that we can bring the price down here for Americans and also provide that resource internationally as well.
Agree completely.
Let me ask you a little bit about the Earth Survey mapping resource that there's been literally millions of dollars been put out on that. Give us an update of where that mapping is going for what minerals that we actually have here in the United States.
Again, that process is ongoing through the U.S. Geological Survey, but it is one of the most valuable investments being made under these pieces of legislation to support states, operators, as well as provide our agencies with the ability to identify resource and engage in deconfliction and accelerate the production.
When do you think that'll be complete?
Next year.
So by December next year, do you think it's a certain quarter? When do you think it may be complete?
Again, it's a high priority. It's also an enormous undertaking, as I think you appreciate.
Right. Well, it is, and it's one of the things that we've talked about a lot of how to actually do mineral production here in the United States, identifying them, prioritizing them when you do the mining here and the processing here. I know that the Biden administration has allocated some resources through their minerals partnership to literally giving millions of dollars to other countries to be able to identify critical minerals in mining, but we have that here. In Nevada, there's a wide spread of lithium that's there that we know is there, and we're just looking for more priority on how do we actually get to that processing and mining here rather than actually doing it overseas. We're going to need both, but we want to make sure that's actually getting done here as well. Mr. Bedrow, thank you.